Mantic Universe Podcast. So many universes, so little time.
Mantic Universe Podcast. So much universe, so little time.
This is Ronnie Renton, and you are listening to the Mantic Universe Podcast.
Hello, you are listening to the Mantic Universe Podcast. I'm Chris, and I'm very lucky tonight to be joined by two absolute legends of Kings of War, Tom and Kevin. Hey guys, how are you doing?
How you doing, Chris?
What's the crack, Chris?
How do you feel about being called Legends of Kings of War? Does that work? Does that scan?
I think you're underselling it.
Overselling big time.
I'll take it. Yeah, we could say Irish Legends of Kings of War, considering the paltry opposition. But yeah, we'll take on that's going.
You're talking to the top two here, the top two Irish ranked Kings of War players.
So fantastic. So Tom, you've been on the pod before. I think I'm going to guess about a year and a half ago ish. To basically, we just sort of dumped on the old world when that was coming back. So you obviously you're an old hand at this. And Kevin, I think this is very excitingly. I think it's your very first time on the pod. So I think I've been sort of threatening to try and get you on the podcast for a while. So I'm really glad I finally got you two on the pod.
Very exciting stuff, Chris. Thanks for having me on.
You're most welcome, my friend. Cool. So, Tom, I think last time you were on, you gave a little introduction to yourself. A potted history of your gaming, etc. So, Kevin, do you want to, as this is your first time, do you want to just run us through, when you started gaming, what point in life you accepted this was just part of your life, and it's not that embarrassing, and all that good stuff?
Sure. Yeah, I suppose. Me and Tom have been buddies for a very long time. I think we're buddies since we were 13. And I think about 14 or 15, and Tom, you can correct me on this, we started to play Dungeons and Dragons. And we loved that, and we played it for years and years. And I think around 18 or 17, around that age, I think I got very busy with my career, so we kind of dropped it for a little bit. We played it more sporadically. And Tom started working in Games Workshop and started taking up Warhammer, and I tried to get into it, but I just didn't have the time to be painting an army, and so I was working nights and weekends and stuff like that. So yeah, then took a break for a little bit, and then Tom got very excited about this new Kings of War game that was coming. He was saying he could use all his Warhammer models for it. So yeah, that's when I started playing Kings of War. I can't remember what age it was, but it was probably about, I don't know, Tom, 8 years ago.
It was, on the death of the old world, so it would have been 2015. It's actually 10 years this year that we started playing Kings of War. We had our first game in September 2015. It was either September or October 2015, yeah. So we're almost a full 10 years now.
No wonder you're the top two ranked players in Ireland that we know of. And that we know of is doing a lot of work in that sentence.
It's carrying a lot, all right.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Well, if there's anyone else out there who's better, they're well hidden.
Challenge coming. Oh no! That was actually I meant to make that point. By the way, dear listener, if you're in Ireland, as in the island of Ireland, we're not picky. Please do get in touch because we want more players on the island of Ireland, either the Republic or the North. Please get in touch because Tom and Kevin are the nicest guys you could hope to roll dice with and make fun of. So yes, please do get in touch, and obviously we want to grow this fantastic game in Ireland as well. And Tom, your painting is absolutely beautiful. So obviously your Goblins army and now your Ogres army is also absolutely stunning. But I think, Kev, on the down low, you're actually a pretty good painter yourself. Your army looks really nice, all ranked up and everything. So you've for years and years, I think you've played Abyssal Dwarves. And am I right in thinking this year you're moving to the Reforge Orcs?
Yeah, so 10 years and I've only painted one army. That sounds pretty lame, actually, now when you say it like that. Yeah, so I'm nearly finished actually painting my Rift Forge Orc army. Well, the first part of it anyway. I'm sure I'm not going to be finished for another year or two at least. But yeah, I'm almost ready to base. I've got my bases ordered. I've got some of them printed. This is an army I'm bringing to Clash, so I need to get the finger out now and get the last few models painted, get them based, and then start figuring that army out. Because yeah, not that long actually when you think about it.
So I absolutely love my friend Caleb, and I played against him 2 nights ago. We played our second ever practice game. My second ever practice game after playing Kevin a few months back. And Caleb's just sort of like, yeah, okay, I'll start my Kings of War army now. And he's just really casual about it. And I'm sort of like, you sure you've got enough time? Yeah, I'll get it done. It's fine. You know, it's like absolutely no drama about it. You know, like he's not going to win best painted, but like he doesn't care. You know, he's going to get it done. Fantastic. No, that's really exciting. And Tom, you're bringing your ogres to Clash of Kings.
Yeah, I'm bringing the ogres. I haven't. I'm going to do a few changes to the list after the run out in Northern Kings, but I have everything kind of based as regiments, so stuff can swap around. It's pretty easy to change the list up. But yeah, the ogres will be getting another run out, and I'm actually thinking the last time you were up in Ireland, you went to Newgrange with Kev. I'm actually thinking for the centre of the display board to build a little miniature Newgrange and have.
Oh, that's such a cool idea.
And a banner flying from the top of it would be like images from the Book of Kells. So that's the idea. I don't know how well I'll be able to execute this now. It's going to go in the center of the display board. So it's the idea with the ogres is it's the kind of Irish foundation myth there, the Fair Bullock, who are this ogre-like race, who are original inhabitants of Ireland. And then a tribe of humans came over called the Tuatha Dé Danann, and they drove. Well, first of all, they said, lads, you know, yous are ogres, but we've nothing against you. Do you want to split the island in half? And the Fair Bullock said no. They went to war. And the Fair Bullock were driven westward. And then they made their last stands at the Cliffs of Moher. So that's what the display board is. It's their last stand right at the edge of the cliffs as they're about to be driven into the sea. So I think, yeah, get the Newgrange little display piece in the middle. And it's just nice team to the army. But that's the idea behind them, you know.
That's really cool. And I think, Kevin, we first met at Clash of Kings in Cardiff, so a few years back now, before COVID. And I think that was your first experience with Ensnare. And I remember very vividly you had a horde of obsidian golems versus, a troop or a regiment or whatever of tidal swarms and a little fence. And that just wrecked your day.
Chris, it was so funny. I just could not understand how. Obviously, it was my first time coming across that phalanx, but I just couldn't understand it. And I went in deep and I was committing to getting rid of that regiment or horde or whatever it was. But I applied if it didn't work the first time, maybe if I charge harder the second time it'll work. Yeah, I was never gonna move them. Never. I don't think I did actually.
No, in the end, because I think we were playing the one. Is it called Dominate? The one with the center circle. You need unit strength in, and at some point you realised this is just not going to happen. Because instead of fighting back, I just backed up my regiment. It's like 80 points of tidal swarm. I just backed them back a millimeter, didn't I? So you were like, okay, it's a fresh charge. It's hindered, so 4s go to 5s, ensnare, hitting on 6s, go! And it just didn't go well. So in the end, you ran away and the tidal swarm were chasing after you. It was, those were the days.
It was a great game. A great memory, though, wasn't it? Like, it wasn't about winning or losing. It was just, we had so much crack. It was brilliant.
Oh, these are the best. These are this is what I love about Kings of War. This silly little game just gives you an excuse to meet amazing people and have these ridiculous memories, and yeah, just good times. Fantastic, guys. So brilliant. So first topic then, I suppose, to talk about is you guys very recently went to the Northern Kings tournament, which is supposedly the last ever one, and it's obviously got an amazing reputation for being a fantastic tournament. So hopefully you guys can just talk a little bit about your experience there, the quality of the tables, the games you had, just have a little, Mup, just start talking,
Yeah, so that's actually the Northern Kings would have been the first. It's the first tournament we've gone to that isn't the Clash of Kings, believe it or not. So we were at 5 Clash of Kings before that, and then at Clash of Kings we'd met Paul Welsh, and he invited us over. So we decided we'd go because they had the dates out well in advance. But what like unbelievable experience! The tournament itself was, from top to bottom, extremely well organized. The tables were amazing. The terrain was unbelievable. I think Nick Williams built every set of terrain on each of the tables. So the tables are all teamed and tied in, and you kind of have 2 tables per team. A really kind of consistent terrain and consistent setups across the board. And then the venue as well. We've got to kind of give you a brief overview. The venue, very, very good venue, hall with a little kind of bar attached to it. So when you're away from the game and table, say the Saturday evening, you had a good chance to mix with people. But really, couldn't recommend it highly enough. Now they're saying it's the last one. Hopefully it's not, because it was an absolutely brilliant experience. And I know Kev, he'd kind of the same opinion coming away from it.
Yeah, but actually arriving to it from the very beginning, like Paul agreed to pick us up from the airport last year at Clash, and we kind of fell out of touch with him a little bit, and then just Paul Welsh we were chatting about. We sent him a message on Facebook, and he said, "Yeah, no problem at all. I'll pick you up." And so it's kind of a stressful experience traveling with your army with Ryanair from Ireland to the UK or from wherever to the UK. But it was also sweltering hot. When we got in, it was about 29 degrees. So we landed, we got through the security. We came out. Paul was there waiting for us in his nice air-conditioned car. We threw our armies into the back of the boot of his car, and he had a fridge in the boot of the car with chilled beers inside it for us. So yeah, it was just from the very get-go. It was brilliant. Paul's hospitality was second to none. And we drove down. We went there for a few pints, had something to eat. And everyone was very welcoming. It was really, really well run. Like what Tom said about the tables and the terrain. The terrain was excellent. The tables were excellent. Everything tied in. Nothing was kind of jarring. There was loads of space. Throughout the day, I remember the first game I was playing, we were sweating buckets. It was so hot, and I think it was Nick. He was just tapped me on the shoulder there, turned around. He was handing me a big pint glass of iced water. It was just exactly what I needed at the time. Our first game was fairly intense actually, but and it was a great tournament. I hope it goes again. Maybe they're going to take a break next year and come back the year after, but it was super event, really well run, and a great kind of a mini Clash, would you call it, or a warm up for Clash. Yeah.
Amazing. And I'm remembering this correctly. Is it in a place called Osset? Is that correct?
Correct. Yes.
Yeah.
And presumably that's quite a small town.
Small town, about an hour from Manchester. Yeah. Nice town, nice kind of old town, But yeah, that what Kev was saying there about coming off the plane. So I think it's about 30 degrees, and Ryanair, just to make life miserable for us, they stuffed us into a stairwell and left us there for about 40 minutes, and then screamed at us because we weren't standing close enough to each other. So we were in that for about 40 minutes on the plane, like you're just sweating, dehydrated, off the plane, and then Paul pulls up in his Tesla with ice cold beer, and the weekend went from strength to strength after that.
Ryanair, they always treat you like criminals at the best of times, don't they? And fantastic. And whereabouts did you guys actually stay? Did you get a hotel, or did someone put you up?
we stayed in the Ramada Hotel in Osset, so about probably about a 5 minute cab journey away from the venue. So it was handy enough. Yeah.
Oh, fantastic. Super, guys. And it was a 2-day event.
2 days,
Was it
5 games. I thought 5 games was actually lovely. It's very, very doable,
2000, yeah. Actually, to be honest, Clash of Kings last year, the 6th game was a game too many for me. I didn't give my opponent a good game, to be honest. I was just in pieces. Although a lot of that's Tom's fault. Yeah, it's a lot of games, isn't it? And it was 2,300 points.
That's right, yeah. Yeah, they should have stopped it after day one, because I was in 4th place after day one. So if they'd stopped it after, if they'd stopped it after 3 games, I was nearly on the podium. But 2,300 points, 2 days, 5 games, kind of perfect. Yeah, I like that. I find that a Clash, that 6th game it's almost like the end of a marathon. It's an endurance thing. Now obviously Clash, they have to, with the numbers that are involved, to separate the players. They need to have 6 games, but yeah, the 5 games makes for a very pleasant weekend, because you're tired coming into day 2. You have your first game, you have lunch, and then you're into your second game, and then it kind of wraps up. So that was definitely a plus point to this,
The first time me and Clem went to Clash was actually Cardiff, when we met you guys, and we were so unprepared. So I think we both worked like normal work days kind of thing, and then I caught the kind of commuter flight from Frankfurt to London, which was absolutely rammed. So that was really stressful. We then got into Heathrow. Luckily, I realised on the day that I'd be landing after the rental car place closes. So luckily, that would have been a disaster. So luckily, Clem could go and just get the car and just drive it outside of their compound. So we had the car, and then we drove from Heathrow to Cardiff, and we got to. So yeah, Saturday morning we got to the hotel at 2:30 in the morning, which was not ideal. And then of course, you're at the Clash for 9 o'clock, and then if I remember correctly, the air conditioner was broken, so that was not ideal. So these things like preparing properly and making sure you're well rested and things really make a massive difference. And fantastic. And so Kevin, you brought your Abyssal Dwarves, right?
Yes, Seven Tom have been playing each other pretty much all year to prepare our lists for this and for not for Clash, but it's the same list actually I brought to Clash last year, and it's kind of the same. I was taking advantage of the Strider ores and the Elite ores with the infantry, so yeah, it worked. I think it worked quite well for me this year.
Is it the list we played against with our game in Ireland?
It's the exact same list. Yeah.
I think it works really well. Yeah. You've got some good synergies going on.
What I did was I changed the deployment of the army around a little bit, and it made a big difference. I used to spread the gogs out on each flank, but I just put them together, and they really, really worked quite well as a kind of a tag team. That's the Greater Obsidian Golem. Yeah,
so it's mostly an infantry army, and you've kind of got elite and vicious on lots of things. I think you've got some really scary auras going on, if that's correct, buddy.
Yeah. There's 2 hordes there with 25 attacks each that are getting elite and they're vicious. And then there's, I think, 2 regiments of the Immortal Guard. There's another 12 attacks, elite and vicious. And then I got a horde of the Decimators. So that's 25 shooting attacks, and they have the Wine of Elvenkind, so they're elite and they're vicious as well. So lots of elite and lots of vicious. So if you can get them to tee off, and you put them in the right part of the board, they really do. Like, they just mow stuff down.
And then you've got 2 of the Greater Abyssal Golems, which you surge like the absolute clappers, which is very scary.
There's potential for a Surge 20 with the Ironcasters that are on the list as well, and it's just it's just great crack, like, because you can't actually take you can't see it, you just can't see all the surges that are possible, which I really, really like. So it's it's a great list. I really enjoy playing it.
It's lots and lots of very good, very consistent attacks, isn't it? It's really, but it's as well. It looks great. It's fun, really fun to play against as well, which I think is an underrated skill. Fantastic. And Tom, you brought your newly painted, freshly painted ogre army, which, if I remember correctly, has got quite a lot of boomers in it.
Yeah, so I changed it slightly for this. Yeah, so that's the first kind of run out in a tournament for the ogres. Yeah, a lot of boomers, a lot of lightning, kind of lightning bolt spam. Um, so the idea is to kind of to shoot, damage them on the shooting, and then hopefully finish them off hand to hand. And then if that doesn't work, just play the objectives with the ogre characters, because they're all unit strength. But one thing I found at this tournament now, like it's a positive, but the tables are quite. I found the tables are quite dense with terrain. So there's one table I counted was 15 pieces of terrain, and that wasn't the only one. So I found it probably a little bit denser than Clash last year, and that affected how the lists play. I think that's why Kev got off to a great start, because a lot of his guys have Strider. So in the heavier terrain, that was playing well to his list, and my list. Most of the stuff had cover, so the lightning bolt and the boomers probably weren't doing what they should have done. Well, not what I was expecting them to do in the volleys. And then I really had to play as well as I could on the objectives to try and claw it back. So my kill points were quite low compared to Kev's. I think I killed 3,000 points less, but then I did a little bit better on the objectives. And we were actually drawn against each other by random in the first round. And not wanting to create a fuss, and because it's good crack playing against each other, we decided to play the first game, not ask them to change it, and that was a draw. But Kev very, very nearly beat me with his list. He flanked my ogre legion, and he nearly had me off the board. And only I played the objectives quite well at the end. I dragged a draw from the jaws of defeat, But that's one thing I found now anyway, and it's probably a change I'll make for Clash. Is I anticipate maybe a little bit more terrain that we have been playing, and to move away from so much shooting. Now the list I have is kind of combined arms, shooting, and some melee, but I think I lean a little bit heavier towards the melee. I think for the next one,
Amazing. And do you remember what the scenario was for round one?
It was
round
plunder.
one, plunder. Yeah.
Ah, super. So you had a draw. So then going into round two, Kevin, do you remember which opponent you had in round two?
No, I don't, and that's why I wrote it down, Chris.
Yeah. By the way, dear listener, I gave them absolutely no warning about these questions, and if it were me, I'd be like, I don't know. I played the Trident Realm.
Yeah.
That's all I remember.
Yeah, no, my second game was against Dan Bailey, and it was Dominate, and he had a Salamander army. First time playing.
Oh, that sounds
Salamanders,
really nasty. Yeah.
Yeah, I was terrified because I had no idea what I was facing. That's kind of one of the drawbacks to having such a small scene in Ireland. Like, I pretty much only know what armies Tom has painted. Now, in fairness, he's painted loads of armies, which is great. But outside of what Ogres, Empires, Dust, Goblins, and maybe Kingdoms of Men, I wouldn't have a clue about any other ones, other than what I faced off against them in Clash. So yeah, my second one was against Dan, and it was Dominate. I got a win in that one. I was delighted with it. It was brilliant to get a win off the back of a draw, So I was definitely out of wooden spoon territory, Chris, which is probably my greatest fear.
So soon, yeah. I've got to be honest. I don't mind losing, but I don't want to get the wooden spoon. If I'm honest, I don't mind coming sort of third or fourth from bottom. I'm always kind of lower mid tables, but I don't want to be right down there.
Same, I'd be lower mid tables mostly. But do you know what? If I did get the wooden spoon, I'd have no problem with getting it. But you'd have to.
Oh, I'd milk it for attention, to be fair. And Tom, who did you have for round two?
So I faced off against Goblins, luckily enough, in the second game, John Guns. And like Kev was saying there, look, we actually do play quite a lot of games. I wouldn't say every week, but most weeks we'll get a game in. But it's very geared towards, like, I'd be good against Abyssal Dwarves. And obviously I know Goblins well, but some armies, like, I've never played them before. And you're at a massive disadvantage because you don't know what the stats are off the top of your head. So goblins, I was lucky to get that because everything you had on the board, I knew exactly what they were doing. I knew what I needed to counter each kind of block or each little battle group. And I got a big win out of that. That was like a 24 points out of that one. So like played the scenario well, but managed to kill a lot of stuff. And I put it down to knowing, knowing the goblins as well as I know probably better than I know the ogres. So I was able to counter them quite well. So yeah, after the draw, I came out with a win. And I think I don't know, some people said it. Did you throw the draw so that you'd have an easier run? But like we didn't at all. Myself and Kev play almost exactly the same amount of games, and we play against each other. So draws do happen probably more often with us than not. And like I said, we're the same kind of caliber of player. So the fact he got a win game 2, I got a win game 2 was good,
This is Mike Carter, and you're listening to the Mantic Universe podcast.
Hey everybody, this is Mike Rossi, Wingdissar's second best dwarf author, and you're listening to the Mantic Universe podcast.
Yeah, fantastic. I mean, you play each other all the time, so a draw makes perfect sense because you know how the other one plays very well after 10 years of playing each other so much. I mean, it's just makes a lot of sense, buddy. Okay, so you're both flying, let's be honest, for us, you're flying incredibly high at this point. So going into the last game of day 1, what happened, guys?
Flying too close to the sun, Chris.
Icarus himself.
Yeah, that's the beauty of the game, isn't it? It does correct itself. And the last game was hold the line.
Just when you're getting a little bit of self-confidence, a little bit of arrogance, it just teaches you a brutal lesson.
Oh, yeah. No, I actually fought salamanders again. So on my third one, it was salamanders again. And I kind of had a little bit of an idea what to look out for. But I was fighting against Carl Newbold. And I have to say, Carl, very, very sound guy. Really, really enjoyed playing against him. But I lost that game. It was a good game, brilliant game, great player. It was the unit strength, I just lacking a bit of it in smaller kind of 50 mil bases and that. And Carl obviously had a strategy. He flew out and he took the objectives. And look, it was a great game, but I thought by round 5-6, I knew that I wasn't gonna get the unit strength to win the game. But brilliant game, really good.
Tom, how did you get on, buddy?
Yeah, I had a good third game against Luke and his Trident Realms. So that's where a lot of my kind of shooting was nullified. So his stuff was defense 6, a lot of defense 6 stuff, and in cover. So it's quite difficult to put wounds on him. So I was struggling to actually take stuff off the board. But positionally, I kind of moved stuff around so that it was difficult for him to get the charges in. And then by the end of the game, it was 50-50. He had a lot of stuff killed, but he was sitting on it was controlled alliance, so he's sitting on more objectives than I was. But I had decided to go second, so I had the very last round, and this was turn 6, and I couldn't figure out how I could win it. But I was thinking there has to be a way. I'm just not thinking hard enough, so I must have spent about 9 minutes thinking, how am I going to move the pieces around and gain, at least 4. Of the objective points. So it has to be a way. It wasn't striking me. So I spent about 9 minutes thinking about it, which I'm sure Luke wasn't too impressed about. But I figured it out at the end was to ditch the middle objective and go for the other 2, which I did. And I said, look, if there's no turn 7, I have it 1. And then there was no turn 7, so I had won it on the objectives. And I was pretty happy because I didn't kill an awful lot of stuff, and it was just purely down to, I'll say brain power, but whatever brain power I have is what won me the game. So I was happy with that. So then at the end of day 1, then I had the draw against Kev. And that was a good draw for both of us. It was a high scoring draw. And then I had two wins. So that brought me up to being in 4th place on the table, which I've no business being. And I got to pay for that day 2. But that was a very good, probably best ever day at a tournament,
I'm not surprised though, because you guys, you're good at Kings of War. I think what kind of players like us, if there is such a thing as players like us, I think on our day we can, we can win and we can play well. What I really struggle with, and maybe you guys are the same, is just kind of concentration and consistency. So like Tom at Clash of Kings last year, we challenged each other for the first round, and I think of you as a really good player and your goblins as being very scary. And somehow it's a very, very tight game, but I managed to get a win out of that one. But the trouble is, after that, I was cooked. And then it's sort of like, okay, now you have to do it all over again, Chris. Like, what? Oh, okay, I'll try. But, after that, my heart's not in it. It's taken everything out of me.
I was actually looking at that game, Chris. I finished earlier than you guys, and I went over to see how you're getting on. And my God, you could cut, not tension, but the concentration. You could cut it with a knife, like it was coming towards the end of that game, and you could see like it was so close. And I totally get what you're saying there. I'd say you were mentally drained at the end of that.
Yeah, exactly, and you've gone through so many different emotions, because like lots of games of Kings of War, that one, it was sort of like, oh my God, I think I might win this, and then it's sort of like, oh no, that's it, I've blown it, I've lost, and then oh no, I might win this still, and it's the hope that kills me, it's just such a roller coaster round to round, and then by the end of it, I'm just a sweaty mess. And throw in there the odd, double ones dice roll and things like that, and it's just, my goodness, this is a fun game. Fantastic, guys. So that was Saturday, and then what did you guys do in the evening?
So the Saturday evening, you basically had an hour to bounce back to the hotel, shower, change, and then we came back to the venue then. And that's the great thing about this tournament is lunch was provided both days, and then they provided the dinner on the Saturday. So we were able to come back then, have dinner in that little bar that's attached to the gaming hall. So we got to mix with people. We met a few people who we'd know from Fanatics. Had the dinner. Then there's a pub quiz. Then Steve Hildrew had some crazy pirate game he wanted everyone to play, which we did, which we got a bit of crack out of. And then out to a little bar afterwards, a few points, and then home. So a good evening. But the great thing about it was it's that size. So I think there's 34, 35 players. Everyone could kind of fit in the little bar. You got a chance to meet everyone, talk to people, which I thought was great.
Yeah, it sounds really friendly and welcoming. It's really fantastic. Great, guys. So, you're well rested and definitely not hungover come Sunday morning. And then next game, guys.
So what, Sunday? Oh yeah, my first game was, I suppose it was Invade, which is it's a good scenario for the Abyssal Dwarves, I find. Once you can get their stunty little arses over the middle line. But I was fighting against Jonathan Luke and his Trident Realm. I got a win, and Jesus Christ, Chris, I think I owe him an apology. I managed to break, I think they were Naiad and Snares, if I remember right. And in round 2 or something, I needed, they charged my Immortal Guard, and they didn't break them, and then I multi-charged them or whatever it was, but I needed to roll an 11 to rout them twice, and I rolled 11 twice, and just one mistake.
It happens.
I felt terrible. Now I felt great as well, but it was like, that shit happens to me a lot. But it was after that, like the game kind of went my way after that.
Like the Trident Realm, I love to play them. It's kind of like, if everything goes to the plan, they feel to your opponent like almost unbeatable. But if something goes wrong, if one thing goes wrong, the whole house of cards will tumble very quickly.
That's how it felt.
Yeah. But him charging charging in with his ensnarers, I'm very suspicious of this behaviour. They don't charge because they'll do probably, if you're lucky, 6 wounds. You're asking for trouble
Chris,
charging them.
Chris, it was probably a different unit then if that was the case, because it was a big unit with loads of attacks, but they didn't break them. I'm probably just not remembering the correct name for the unit. But
oh no, the ensnarers. Yeah, I think you're right, buddy, because they've got 25 attacks.
That's what something like that. Yeah, I stand to be corrected, but it was a big unit. It was a point sink, and yeah, the counter charge basically killed them. And I needed double 11 and rolled double 11. So sometimes it happens. Huh?
Amazing, fantastic.
The beauty of the game.
Amazing, and you didn't have PTSD after playing against my Trident Realms, which is good.
I knew what to look out for actually after playing against your Trident Realms, which is great. I suppose that's again the game. Like, you need to play the different arms to learn these things.
Yeah, that's really cool. Tom, who did you have in the first game of day 2?
Yeah, I was in 4th place, which we've established after day 1, and very quite close to the top spot, but having no business being there. So I had Florence then in the first game.
Oh dear!
Oh dear! Yeah. So it was like that scene in The Sopranos where Tony takes his belt off to someone where he's annoyed. Just in terms of gameplay, absolutely played off the table. But she's sound, and a pleasure to play against. Very, very kind of fair. I think we had a discussion earlier about that. A really good player, but no sense of trying to game the rules at all. And absolutely fantastic game. But like that, you were talking about those ensnarers, just sitting 2 big blocks in terrain, holding the center, those little froggy things, whatever they are, jumping around the place. And again, my kind of lightning bolt didn't do what it needed to do. She got those frogs in behind, and they just jumped all over the place and caused carnage. I did okay towards the end in that I managed to kill enough stuff to get a point out of it, and I got enough. It was invade, so I got enough units across the center line to get a couple more points. So it wasn't a 5-pointer wipeout. I think I had 8 or 9 points by the end of it. So I dragged something out of the game, but there's no way I was ever going to win that. She's just a much better player than I am, and I think she's had more tournaments this year than I've ever played, probably twice the amount. So very good experience to play against someone like that. And like I said, the most important thing, probably the least important thing about a tournament is you winning a game of toy soldiers. I think going there and having the crack and getting on well with people and the hobby side of it, I would put that down to being much more important. And that game had everything. Her army, the Trident Realms, beautiful army. She got a hobby pin. I got a hobby pin as well. So 2 kind of really good armies playing against, really good looking armies playing against each other. And good experience to play against a player of that caliber. But I got battered is the short side of it. Managed to drag 8 or 9 points out of it, but I think she got 24 or something. So that was the first game of the day down.
But she's a very competitive person. That's really clear from meeting her a few times. She's absolutely lovely, the nicest person. But when she plays, she really wants to win. Whereas if I'm really, don't get me wrong, it's really nice at the end to win a game, to have that feeling that you've won. But really, what I get the most out of in Toy Soldiers is the games I had against you guys at Clash of Kings, where the games had so many amazing moments, and we got on so well and had such a wonderful time that it doesn't matter if I win, quote unquote, win or lose this game. I won because we had a brilliant time, and we made these memories I'll have forever with this silly little game of Toy Soldiers. That you can't make this stuff up. Like the dice and your tactics and stuff tell this sort of story of the battle. And when you get on with as well as I do with you guys, it's absolute magic. It doesn't matter. Like the game with Kevin we mentioned earlier. If he'd have beat me in the game, I still would have had as much enjoyment and as much fun out of that as I had winning it. Really, let's be honest. It doesn't. It's that magic combination. Does that make sense, guys?
Totally. Chris, some of the games that I've played, Obviously I play a lot with Tom, but there's been some games, right, that we played, and oh my god, like it's just mad the way it just comes down. Some of these games, it just come down to a single dice roll, and if you get it, you're going to win, and if you don't get it, and the game is like, it's just so close the whole way, and it just comes down to that one point, that one dice throw, and yeah, that's it, and the pressure. Do you know actually what I really liked about this tournament was the re-roll one dice rule. So any game you played, you could re-roll one dice throughout it. I've never heard of it, never came across it. Thanks, Michelle. Just handing me another beer. Yeah, I never came across this rule before. Or this. Yeah, it was brilliant. Actually, I really, really liked it. I don't know what you thought of it, Tom, but yeah, I thought it was really good and added to the game.
It didn't save me in my game against Florence to kill those. I keep calling them the little frog fellas. I don't even know what they are. That shows you the level of my knowledge of Trident Realms. But yeah, I needed anything but a Snake Eyes to rout them at one stage, and I rolled Snake Eyes, and then I used the tournament reroll and I rolled Snake Eyes again. So it didn't save me, and I needed it.
Oh, of course that's what would happen. And is it? Can you reroll one dice, or if it's
It's
a
one
if it's a
dice.
nerve check, you can roll? Okay, so you would.
Yeah.
Okay, so there was a 1 in 6 chance you'd end up with double ones again then.
Yeah, and it was that's where you nearly fall to your knees. It was that scene of Platoon where
Yeah.
they've left him behind and they don't realise he's on his knees being shot by the Viet Cong. Well, that was me after that second roll, because they were right in the rear, and then they just rear charged and flank charged anything they could get their hands on. But I do
I
agree
think-
with Kevin. I thought that was a very good rule, because most of the time that's getting you out of that situation, and if it doesn't, it makes that situation even more dramatic. That's something that I probably won't forget. So it has, you still have that element, but it kind of lessens, I suppose, the chance that you're going to lose on a bad dice roll.
It added to the game, I have to say. Definitely added to the game.
It feels, because sometimes when you roll double ones, it can feel a little bit. I mean, it is part of the game and you have to accept it, but sometimes it feels a bit rough. I mean, I think the one time in my life I played a game of Kings of War and I was salty and I'm a bit embarrassed of my behaviour was when we played in Cardiff, and I played against one of the Moonrakers. They had the Night Stalkers, and I'm certain that was the best I've ever played. I played so well, and I really got my tactics absolutely spot on, and it all paid off really, really well. And that was when the Night Stalkers were a really strong army, and I was well ahead. And we both agreed, as long as I don't double one twice on the final turn, then I've won, and we'll call it. So of course I doubled wand, then I double wand again, and I just. I still had a horde of the Worm Riders to charge in to win the game, and they completely fluffed. They were fighting against charging a regiment. They've got Pathfinder. The regiment was already pretty badly wounded, if I recall, and they completely fluffed their attacks, like completely and utterly. But I still only had to roll a 4 once on the nerve check to win the game. And I rolled a 3, and the air conditioning wasn't working. It was boiling hot, and honestly, at that point, I was just in pieces. It was like the double ones happened once, then they happened again, and it's kind of like, okay, but I'm still gonna win. And then I rolled a load of 2s, and then it's like, okay, but I still only need to roll a 4. And they roll a 3, and it's like, at that point, it's like, come on, I can't. This is breaking me, and oh no. And my opponent was apologising to me and saying, I've got no satisfaction out of this win because I feel like I've cheated you. But that then made me feel worse because I'm like, Chris, your terrible behaviour has ruined it for your opponent as well. Like, oh no. So if I'd have had a reroll.
You should have flipped the table at that stage, Chris.
But it's like sometimes you just can't make it up, and I'm certain that is the best I've ever played, and it just, and fate just smited me down, like, nope, Oh, goodness me. Fantastic, guys. So, day 2, things are looking a little bit ragged around the edges. So, I think we're now into the last game, right? Game 5.
Yeah, game 5. So my game 5, coming off the win, I went up a little bit again. I went up a little bit too high, and I was facing off against Danny Graves. Never played him before. And then I played a list I've never played before either.
Oh, we love Danny. We love Danny. He's a good player, though.
He's sound guy, really sound guy. But I never played him before. I can confirm he's a very good player. Yeah, like he bet the bloody arse off me, Chris. Like Jesus Christ. I never played Sylvan King before. First time I've played an army where I'm being multi-charged in one of my hordes turn 1. It was a brilliant game. I really, really enjoyed it. But my God, he bet me bloody. And it felt like I was constantly I had a knife to my neck for the whole game, and I was just about keeping it an inch away, you know.
Did he have a load of scout and surge? Is that how he got up the table so quick?
Exactly, yeah. So he had loads of scouting and loads of surge, and yeah, I think it was triple charge in the first go, like the first round, which I never come across anything like that ever. Like turn 2, he was actually on the same side of the table as me because all his pieces were there.
Kevin, at some point, did you shout over to Tom, like, Tom, come and have a look at this?
Oh, stop.
Daddy tells me he's not cheating. Look what his units are.
Oh my God, I felt like screaming help. But it was really, really good. Obviously, the best of dwarves are Def 6. They can take a pounding. By Jesus, they took a pounding. But it was brilliant to play a list like that I've never played before. That kind of style. The lads held up really well. It was a loss. Absolutely, I don't think it was ever going to be anything else. But I got a few sneaky charges in with the Gogs. I was happy with that. I took out. I can't remember actually if I took out his Wildfather or not. But yeah, the guys that surged in were kind of Titan guys. Was a Great Rare Elemental, the Wildfather, and some other kind of tree dude. I think his army actually was one of the nicest armies painted there. It was class. Hope we got an award for it. But yeah, it was pillage. The scenario was pillage. It was a loss, and I knew from turn 1 that I was going to lose this game. But I was just determined to do as well as I could. So I think that was my toughest game. Actually, I think I only killed 1,000 points, but a brilliant game, a brilliant player, and a beautiful army. So yeah, loads of fun.
Yeah, and Danny's just a great guy to hang around with. To be honest, he's great fun. And if you know your rock music from the 1990s, you know Danny's right there with you. You know,
which we do. Yeah, we both had long hair going back in the 90s. We're total rockers.
Fantastic. And Tom, your last game, buddy. The tension is unbearable. Have we lost Tom?
He was a bit crackly there. I think maybe he's doing something with his.
Yeah. Bike. Okay, well let's hope he's back in a second. And then, I mean, Kevin, everything you've said, buddy, it sounds like an absolutely amazing event. Exactly what you'd want. Let's hope they change their minds and come back. To be honest, I think if Mantic was still organising Clash of Kings, I would have been going to the Northern Kings by now. I think, buddy, it was. Yeah, but because Steve runs such an incredible event, which has so many players, it just feels Clash of Kings is just nailed on now in the calendar. And you know, there's only so much money in the hobby travel budget. And then, of course, I came to visit you guys earlier in the year, so that was that spent for this year. But I wouldn't change it, to be fair. But it sounds like you had an absolutely amazing time.
Yeah, we really did. Like we've only ever done Clash of Kings for tournaments, and so we would obviously have a fairly high expectation of how a tournament is. But this was brilliant. Like it was just smaller. It was a little bit. I suppose it was a little bit more chill because there was less people there. Yeah, it felt like there was more space as well. There was a really, really high ceiling. those fans there. As I said, like the lads were passing out ice water, and then the next round they were passing out ice pops, and the next round,
Oh, bless them.
the chill drinks
Yeah.
and snacks, you know. And then the bar was right beside you. Your man wasn't charging. He could have charged anything. But I think it was like, I don't know, £3 or something like that for a beer or something. 3.50 I think it was, which is quite reasonable, I think.
Yeah, definitely, buddy.
Yeah, there was a good vibe, great atmosphere, super competitors. Everyone had a lovely painted army. The tables were class. I think Tom went around and took a picture of every single table, which I thought was a great idea. For inspiration for ourselves, but then also to kind of, you know, when you're remembering stuff, you never remember that kind of stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And as well, I find when I'm having a really good time, I always forget to take photos. That's always a feature of, if I've had a brilliant weekend, I've taken like 3 rubbish photos because I was too busy enjoying myself, you know?
Yeah, totally. And you get caught up in it, all right. But no, I took loads of pictures this time, and I took loads of pictures actually of my match with Tom, because Tom was saying that we're fairly even players. I would disagree with that. Tom would beat me a lot more often than I'd beat him now. But Tom was.
Oh, I agree.
Tom was,
Tom's a bit better than me as well. Yeah, he definitely is. Yeah,
I'd be fairly mediocre on my best day, you know. But Tom's quite good. But
I think you and me,
Yeah,
you and me are pretty much bang on the same. But Tom's a notch above us, I think, if I'm being honest.
I think that's a fair comment, yeah. But Tom was actually handing me my arse on a silver platter for the last 2 months before that tournament. Every single time I played the Ogres, because I wasn't used to playing the Ogres. It was a fairly new list I was playing against, and he was just beating me bloody every time. And then I think with all the Tom's armies that I played against, that generally is the way it goes at the beginning, and then I start to kind of figure out what I need to do, and then I become a bit more of a challenge, and then figure out actually how I might actually be able to do it. And I think it just clicked at the right moment. So I was absolutely delighted to get a draw against Tom. And then at one point, like I thought I was going to win it. Like I think I had it in the bag at one stage, but then I went to turn 7. Pretty sure I went to turn 7, and then it went to a draw. And it was those bloody Ogres, and everything has unit strength. Everything.
Yes.
I think that's a huge plus to that army. Like, and the small little 50 mil bases, they have unit strength, and yeah, I think that's a big part of how they're so successful.
Yeah, on their little square bases. Absolutely, buddy. Well, should we, just to give Tom a minute to sort of circle back around and hopefully rejoin, shall I just quickly run through my Trident Realm list for that I'm planning on taking to Clash? It's the same list you played against.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. I'd love to play that list again, actually, Chris.
Yeah, I think it's got something. You know, I don't take any of the things I think the good Trident Realm players take, but I think there's definitely something here, buddy, you know?
Chris, it's a brilliant list. I mean, we played when we were over in Ireland. Was it March or something?
Yeah,
April.
March. Yes, March, April. Yeah, probably. Yeah, 3 months ago.
I thought it was brilliant. I'd love to play it again. And do you know what? We probably will end up playing each other at some stage over Clash in September.
Oh, that would be so good. Yeah. So I've got fantastic, buddy. So I've got a horde of ensnarers with the Hammer of Measured Force, and the reason I take the Hammer of Measured Force is because they often get fighting against Defense 6 things, and the ensnarers, they've got 25 attacks, but they're hitting on 4s, and then no crushing strength or anything, obviously. So like, if you take the Hammer of Measured Force, they're actually quite nasty with that number of attacks against high defense stuff. I mean, against my game with Caleb, they were fighting against some knights, and suddenly the dice spiked, and they did 11 wounds against a regiment of knights, and just took them off.
Deadly.
Yeah, it can be. I mean, it doesn't happen every game, but when it does, it's a really nice little bonus for 20 points. I've then got 2 regiments of placoderms, which are, because you were talking earlier on the pod about how many attacks your Abyssal Dwarves can do, and it's really nasty, and they've got elite and vicious. But I had a regiment of placoderms, and you charge them in the front with a horde of dwarves, in the flank with the Immortal Guard. And I think I'd cast Bastion and Weakness, which made a big difference. But I think, didn't you do something ridiculous, like 7 wounds in total? and they were totally
yeah.
fine. And that won me the game, I think, to be honest, buddy.
That was, yeah, well, if I was going to make a bet on that, I would have said that they would have cracked them every single time. I don't know.
Yeah,
how they would have cracked them.
100%, buddy. Oh, 100%. I think mathematically they should have exactly something like 9 out of 10 times they would have been off.
Yeah, they held them, so fair play. That's how it happens, you know. That's the game. Sometimes it's not always like that. It's not usually like that, but it is like that sometimes.
Yeah, I think the weakness in the Bastion just tipped it over the top somehow. But I tell you what, they're 165 points for defense 6, 15, 17 nerve. They never do any wounds. I don't have any bench on in the army, but they also have the guard of the Tridal King. Now you can only take this twice, but obviously I take it twice. It's a 5-point upgrade that makes it unit strength 4 instead of unit strength 3. So for scenario play, having a unit strength 4 defense 6 unit for 170 points is just amazing.
See, Chris, you're not sounding like a mediocre player when you're talking about unit strength.
Yeah, I talk a good game. You know, it's playing a good game.
You sound like a player there, with your unit strength.
And then I've got this. Actually, this is something that I feel like I haven't used properly. I've got a horde of giggers, and why they're nice is they're defense 6 with big shield, so defense 5 in the flanks and rear. They've only got 12 attacks, but they've actually got crushing strength 2, and crushing strength is something I don't have much of. And it's interesting, they've got vicious, so it's pretty reliable damage. And they've also got nimble, which is not something you would expect for a speed 5 horde of monstrous infantry, right? So they're kind of an interesting unit. But I remember in our game, they got charged by one of your horrible abyssal golems, and the abyssal golem took them off, didn't it?
They got flanked, I'm sure, was it?
Oh, it was whatever it was. It was nasty.
Yeah, they got a lot of crushed.
Oh yeah, is it Crush 3?
So I've 2 gogs. One is a standard greater obsidian golem, and then the other lad is in Fernock, and he's Crush 4. So one's Crush 3, one's Crush 4. Now they're hitting on 4s, which is swingy, and they've only got 12 attacks. Only 12 attacks. 12 attacks is great. Yeah. But on 4s, you know, when you roll the dice,
it's so swingy. Well.
You want to hit.
It's so swingy. Yeah, and when you really, really need them to, you know, they'll disappoint, won't they? Fantastic.
That happens.
Fantastic. And then I've got 2 hordes of the Oceanborn Worm Riders, which I absolutely love. I love the unit. I love the style of it. I love everything about them.
I love how you painted them, Chris. I think you did a great job of painting them.
Thanks, mate. Yeah, I must admit, I am looking forward to showing them off. I love the models. That probably shows with the paint job I managed, but that's as good as I can paint. You know, that's kind of my ceiling, and I'm really proud of them, if I'm honest. So one's got the Brew of Strength, so one's got Crush 2, and the other one's got the Pipes of Terror, which give Brutal. And I'm sure Tom will agree as an Ogre player, but I feel like Brutal is such an underrated special rule. For 10 points, the Pipes of Terror, just giving, you know, so when you do the nerve check, the opponent gets +1. It's just, I feel like that's such a strong thing. For only 10 points. And then I've got your favourite, Kev, two Tidal Swarms for 70 points, which are absolutely amazing. I've got 2 Knuckers, not 3. Knuckers are brilliant because they're kind of speed 9 monsters, crush 1, thunder 1, hitting on 3s. They're always just doing something nasty for your opponent, you know. I've then got the Naiad Envoy, who is very inspiring. She's got an aura that gives fury to the placoderms, but to be honest, the way I play it rarely comes up. But she's the one who's got the Bastion spell, which actually I think is very important for the list because it just makes us a bit more survivable. And the great thing about Bastion is it doesn't just give +1/+1 to the nerve of the unit you cast it on. It creates a 6-inch bubble around them. So if you cast it on something in your battle line, it's giving a lot of your battle line +1/+1, which is, you know, in such a tightly balanced game as Kings of War, that really makes a difference. I've then got a Siren who's 100 points. Sorry, mate, did you want to say something?
No, I was just gonna say, yeah, that +1 is huge. Like, do you think like what difference can 1 point make? But as you said, like the game is that close, it's that well balanced like that. Like 1 point is brilliant. I'm thinking of bringing war drums to my orc army actually, just based on that +1 kind of thing.
Oh, perfect, buddy. Maybe after this, you can just talk to us a little bit about your plans. And the Siren, so the Siren's 100 points. She's a spellcaster. And the interesting thing about her is she's got a special rule called Siren's Call. And that means, so she's basically got all the spells I wouldn't take myself. Like, I'd never pay the points for any of these, really. But she's got 5 spells. She's got Enthrall 7, Weakness 3, Mindfog 2, and Hex 3. And she gets to do all of them in the same turn. So she's casting, instead of just casting one spell as a normal wizard does, she casts all 5. And actually, things like Weakness 3, so basically it's, -1 crushing strength, Mind Fog, Hex, it's all brutal. I mean, I hexed the Green Lady in my practice game against my friend Caleb, and she was basically devastated, and then I just mind fogged her off. And it was just so sweet for, quite a cheap, 100-point little spellcaster to do all of that. I feel like this is the bit I'm not using properly, because I feel like this could absolutely cripple an opponent's army, because it's all the debuff spells, really. So I feel like I'm not really getting the best use out of the Siren yet, but I think she could potentially be absolutely amazing. And then I've got a Naiad Wormrider Centurion, who's the little Wormrider hero, who's 160 points of kind of 5 attacks, but inspiring, crush 1, thunder 1, all that good stuff on his little base. And then I've got the Trident King, who's quite expensive, but I feel like, because I used to take the Trident King, like when we played in Clash King, Kev, I had the Trident King. I'll be honest, back then there was no chance he was actually worth his points. I just loved the idea of it. And he's kind of a bit of a Swiss Army knife. He kind of does everything. He's speed 8, melee 3, range 4, defense 5. He's got 1 unit strength, 10 attacks, 14, 16. But then he's got a shooting attack with piercing 1 and shattering. He's got crush 1, he's got snare, he's got nimble, he's got regen 5+, he's got thunderous charge 2, he's very inspiring. The only thing he doesn't have is nimble. Oh no, he is nimble. Oh sorry, I beg your pardon. The only thing he doesn't have is pathfinder. So he's often hindered on the charge. But other than that, he's great. And also I've taken the King of Ilyish or something like that, which gives Naiads, Life Leech 2 within 6 inches of him. So as I did against you, Kev, basically he goes with the... I have basically a big, strong centre, which is very hard to kill and very annoying. And then on one flank, I just put all the rocket fuel of my kind of chargy stuff, cavalry stuff. And the Trident King is just front and centre. And he gives Life Leech 2 to the Naiad Wormriders. And the idea is I just smash in, kill stuff. We then regen on a 4-up. They're only defense 4, but hopefully they don't get killed. They regen, they Life Leech back. And then we just keep that just keeps us in the fight for long enough, if that makes sense. So that's kind of my idea. It's... total units is 14. Total unit strength is 27. I've almost got no shooting in the list, and we have one plan, and that's it. There's no plan B. But hopefully it's going to be fun. Hopefully it's going to be fun to play against, and that's going to be me at Clash.
I thought that was a brilliant list, Chris. When I played against it, I thought the king. What's he called? The Trident King. Yeah,
that's him.
He I think he did something every single round when we played. I thought he was brilliant. And then your hammer flank was brilliant. So yeah, everyone watch out for that if you're playing Chris in Clash, for sure.
Yes. I've only got one trick, but I like it.
But the trick is bash, bash, bash.
Yeah, that's exactly it. How incredibly tricky. Perfect. And so you're going to be bringing your Riftforge Orcs, which hopefully you've played some practice games, because I guess, have you played some, like empty base games or anything, or not yet?
Not even one, right? So I've made a couple. I made a couple of lists there on the app, right? But I've listened to a lot of podcasts that have reviewed the army. I've listened to them 2 or 3 times just to kind of, what other players who use this army have found out is good or works well. So I'm hoping this works well because I kind of painted this army, and you know yourself, at this point I'm not going to be painting much more between now and then. I need to play the army. I'm actually a little nervous now about it because I don't have that much time to play and figure it out. So it's a bit of a Hail Mary here. I hope it works. But yeah, definitely going to go with Riftforged Orcs for Clash. So on the list I have 2 hordes of Riftforged Legionnaires, which are, they're quite punchy. 25 attacks, melee 3, speed 5.
Crush 1. You can't go wrong with them, can you, to be honest?
Well, you tell me, Chris, you have a Riftforged Orc army, so I'm hoping that is the case. Now, I don't have much chaff on my list to put in front of them, so I'm hoping over my trial games I play against Tom, I'll figure out how much chaff I need. I think the chaff I'm going to go with.
I think that's a weakness in the list because you've got some things like wolves, but actually they're quite expensive. And they're sort of a bit better. You don't really just want to be chucking them out to die if you can avoid it. They're a bit better than that. So, yeah, I think chaff for the army is a tricky one.
Riftwalkers. So I have a regiment on my list. Do they do troops of Riftwalkers? I don't know if they do or not, but I thought they'd be great chaff, but maybe expensive chaff.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. I think they're the flying ones, aren't they?
Yeah. The ones that are a dream to paint. Yeah. Wait till you see them. Look, they're ghosts, all right.
Ooh, spooky ghosts! It was a shame because I feel like the Halfling army came out at a similar time. That obviously flew off the shelves, and unfortunately the Riftforged Orcs didn't. So I feel like there should have been more Mantic models than they actually released. But anyway, never mind.
Yeah. I was actually going to go Orcs for my next list, but then I said no, I'm going to go Riftforged because that's kind of the Mantic thing.
Nice.
I'm dropping in a horde of Thunder Seers, so 30 attacks. I'm going to give them the Brew of Sharpness, so they're hitting on 3s. They have Pathfinder, Crush 1, Spell Ward as well. And I think they have Visions of the Rift, so they can be redeployed, which I think is
That's it. Yeah.
Yeah, they're pricey, but like they're gonna hit like a steam train. So I'm hoping to. I should be able to put them wherever I want, but they redeploy. So Hellstrikers, I've got 2 hordes. Everyone seems to be raving about the Hellstrikers. I have 1 horde painted currently. I don't know if I want to get a second horde painted. I need to figure that one out. I might play with a base and see if I think I really want them.
Speed 10. I mean, speed 10. If I'm remembering this right, 18 attacks on 3s with crush strength. They're so good. I mean, and particularly as an Abyssal Dwarf player, having this speed, like such a fast hammer, I think will be shocking. It will feel like cheating. It feels like easy mode because it's just so fast and so hitty. So if it were me, I would go 2 hordes of them all day, every day. To be honest, buddy, they're so good.
Yeah, that's kind of seems to be the narrative, all right. So I have 1 done, but I think I'm going to have to buy another regiment to get a second one done. I think it'll be worth it. Yeah, they seem to be great hammers. I'm bringing 2 Ambrocks. I don't think that you can go with 1. You'd have to have 2. I'm going to trial them and see if they work for shooting because there's not much shooting on that list. I'll see how they go over the next couple of weeks.
What about sort of having them as chaff and they kind of put out some shots and you also they double up as chaff and then, they're going to die, but, they're 80 points or whatever. I can't remember exactly how many, but I remember
115.
That right. Oh, okay. Oh, a bit more then.
Yeah. We'll see. A big one that I have to make a call on, and maybe Chris, you have something to input here. The Stormforge Shrine, I really like it. A lot of shit to remember though.
It is.
Lots of stuff to remember, which some people have no problem with. I would struggle with that. But
I love it, buddy. It's a lot to remember, but I think it's the same every single time, basically. And it's been a couple of years since I played it, but basically you'll do the same order every single time, and you'll probably deploy it in the same way every single time. So if I remember, you get more dice for every kind of Riftforge unit within whatever inches. So
Correct.
it is stuff to remember. It's an amazing unit. It's really fun. It feels really thematic. And I
Great
think,
model.
although,
I like it.
yeah, the model's beautiful. So I think actually remembering things won't be an issue because it's just the same every time. There's very few variables in it, and you'll keep doing spells until one fails. But I think it's really, really strong, really powerful, and just looks great. It's fun to play as. I would definitely go for one, buddy. They're great. I think your enemy is going to be Hex. But such is life.
Yes. Yeah, Hex is a bugger for this one.
Because you can't really hide it either, can you? Because it's tall.
No, it's a Titan, so yeah, it's going to get hexed. Although I've rarely come up against Hex in tournaments.
Exactly.
When you do,
rarely have it.
It's problem.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. That's exactly it. Yeah, it's like Fire Royal. It doesn't come up that often, but when it does, it's a really big deal.
I'll be applying I'm sure it'll be grand rule to Hex. I think I'm sure it'll be fine. I've got a Stormcaller then with Lightning Bolt 4, and then 2 Stormbringers on Hellstrike Manticores. So a lot of flying, a lot of melee 3. Yeah, it's a lot of Alpha Strike stuff on it. Yeah, so that's pretty much it. Yeah, 12 unit strength 26.
Very elite army, isn't it? It's going to be a lot of fun. And what's the plan, buddy? Just have a strong centre of kind of infantry, and then a really hitty flank. Is that kind of the basic plan?
Kind of, yeah. Like yourself when you see those flying hordes, they're so threatening. You can't ignore them, and and then with the 2 Stormbringers on Hellstrike Manticore again. They're threatening flanks. So I'm hoping to kind of use those 2 Stormbringers with the Horde of Hellstrikers to give people a lot of things to think about.
Yeah, and if you get into a flank with those, with those, they almost hit like a dragon. It's so good. If you can fly behind the enemy lines with something, it's just causes absolute terror.
Yeah, but like this is like so different to the army that I've been playing for the last 10 years. So yeah, a bit very refreshing change, I suppose. But a bit of stuff to figure out first. I don't think this will be the exact list that goes to Clash, but it probably won't be too far away because I don't think I'll have anything else painted.
Yeah, and I think they changed the rules since I last looked at it. But the name character Thonar looks really cool as well. I don't know how efficient he is or anything, but just really cool rules for him.
I like the look of him actually, but he's expensive. But I
yeah,
don't know. Maybe I might drop one of the hordes of Hellstrikers. I might drop the Ambrox, and maybe that'll give space for him. But time will tell, I suppose. Yeah, over the next couple of weeks playing against Tom.
Very nice. Could you? I know it's a lot to paint, but I think now they have Orklings in the list, don't they? I was wondering maybe if you could just get some goblins from somewhere and say they're Orklings. I'm not really sure if Mantic have models. I don't think Mantic have models for the Orklings, but just trying to think of some chat options.
Me and Tom chatted about this actually, and I think definitely. And he's got a pile of goblins left over, so I was thinking of just paint them white and then use a speed paint over them, and then get some lightning gun between them. I've kind of figured out. I have a storm joint painted for the army as well. He was my original test model to get the skin toned down because I've gone with a blue toned skin, and I was struggling to kind of get the tones down with the smaller models, so I blew it up onto a joint and figured it out that way, and I was happy with what I did.
What an interesting way of doing it. Great idea, buddy. Yeah, fantastic.
The lads are covered in armour, those troops and hordes, the infantry units, they're mostly armour, so you only got a little bit of a face, sticking out of the helmet and the arms exposed. But the storm joint, obviously, the legs are exposed, the arms are exposed, and I found it easier to shade up. I suppose, yeah. My painted skills will be fairly mediocre as well. Like so,
No, you're good. You're good, buddy. I mean, it's the Clem talks about this a lot. It's like probably if you look at one of your models really, really closely, you'll realise it's fairly simple. Like the style is fairly simple, but the moment you get them on your beautiful multi bases and rack them all up, the overall effect of the army is fantastic. So yeah, don't worry about that, buddy. And I really like the kind of like the style of the Rift Forge orcs. They're in sort of heavy armor, and it reminds me of the kind of Isengard, Aurochs from the Lord of the Rings trilogy, rather than the any other kind. It's these like heavy, nasty, really, really sort of hardcore orcs, and I think it's really cool.
I really like it too. I gave the infantry like this really, really bright gold armor that you'd expect maybe on elves. I thought it was kind of an obscene thing to do, as if they kind of they took that from the elves and made it into their own armor. It kind of bounces off the blue tone skin, I think, quite well. So I want to kind of flashy with the armor as opposed to dark and the traditional kind of orc like theme.
That's really cool. I mean, they're kind of, everything is kind of basically forged in hell, so it could conceivably be anything you want it to be, right? That's amazing. Cool. Fantastic. That sounded great. I can't wait to see them, to be honest. And yes, I think you've got the basis of a really cool idea there, buddy. You just need a little bit of tweaking, and I think you'll be all good.
Deadly, yeah.
But yeah,
definitely some practice too. Lots of practice.
Yeah, a little bit of chaff, or just just smash them with your flying stuff. That'll do it.
Yeah. Fingers crossed.
Cool. Yes, best. Yeah, of course. And Fred was so appalled to be beaten by me at last Clash of Kings. He's challenged me again this year. So last year was just all fun and games, and this year he's going to absolutely smash me. But I'm fine with that, because then I drop down the pairings. Find my level. The old submarine goes down. Hey,
oh, yeah.
Tom, are you back, buddy? I think at some point he was back, but maybe not. This is the podcast life, Kev, this is you're getting the full look behind the curtain today of all the possible things that can go wrong when you make a podcast. Hey, speaking of which, last weekend we recorded monthly, but it hasn't been released yet because the editors are on holiday, bless them, and I've completely screwed up the editing. Something went horribly wrong with the sound quality, and it turns out I've deleted the original data, so I can't correct it, which is brilliant, well done, Chris. So
nice job,
at the moment,
Chris. Nice job.
Exactly, brilliant. I can't even just start again from scratch. So so Clem is. I mean, it's kind of a combination of my incompetence, but also like terrible things happening with like I have been screwed over by the software. To be fair, but I didn't plan for being, if that makes sense. It's like it's a little bit like if your hard drive dies or something. It's kind of like, yeah, that sucks, but I should have had a backup. It's that kind of situation. Perfect. Tom, are you back, my friend?
Can you hear me now?
Yay!
Brilliant. Yeah. I
Hey,
don't know
Tom.
what's going on there.
No worries, buddy. Why don't you just very quickly talk us through your new Ogre's army and just, what you've got, what the plan for it is, and how you use it, if that makes sense.
Yeah, like I was saying, after that, the Northern Kings tournament, there's some good learnings from that. I'm going to make a few changes to the list. I actually fielded a legion of ogres on that list. So the idea was to hold them in the center and then pick away at them with lightning bolt. But because there's so much terrain, they were getting a lot of cover from the lightning bolt. And the legion tended to be hindered a lot. And I was still kind of doing damage, and I was able to win. I was able to win a couple of games with it, but I think so I have two lists. Either I'm going to double down on the shooting, so I'm going to replace the boomers with shooters, put some hunters and siege breakers in there, and a couple of croc dogs, or I'm going to go siege breakers, croc dogs, a line of warrior regiments in the front, and then probably a chariot with the brew of sharpness and the hellish wheels, and a couple of berserker bullies on the flank. So bring a much blunter instrument where I can just march up and punch them as hard as I can in the face. And then play the scenario afterwards, because I'll have the 6 ogre characters. So I think that's probably the list I'm going to go with, which is the melee list. Either that one or the double down on the shooting. So kind of push it either one direction or the other, because I think the list I had it's fallen between two stools. But again, like Kev, I have to actually get a couple of practice games in with it before that. But like that, I'm fairly confident going to Clash now that if I get 3 wins, I'll be happy enough. I'll do the submarine. So if I lose the first game, then hopefully win the second game. And if I come out with 3 wins at the end of it, I'll be happy enough.
Yeah, I've never actually managed. I think the best I've done at Clash is, or any big tournament like that, I think the best I've done is 2 wins and a draw. So, yeah, if I can get 3 wins, I'd be over the moon, to be honest. And fantastic, guys. And Kev, in your own words, buddy, what is it that Giants have against Tom?
I don't know if I can say the word on this podcast, Chris.
So we played a doubles game, and there was 3 Giants in the middle of the table.
3 Giants, yeah.
Yes,
Giants,
we were trying to get the Giants gold, and they would randomly, every round we rolled a dice to see, they would charge randomly in a random direction. Tom, how many times spoiler alert, dear listener, they charged me and Kevin 0 times in the whole game. How many times did they charge you, Tom?
I think that's the only game I've got slightly annoyed. 7 or 8 times. 8 times I was charged. To the point where I was disbelieving the directional dice. My God, every single time
it felt like
and it was a flank
at one
card.
point, it felt like something mad was happening. It felt like, are we somehow grifting Tom without me knowing it? Are we sort of like gaslighting him, going, no, what are you talking about, Tom? The dice is pointed towards your unit. But it was every single time. It was so mad.
I think you brought loaded dice, yeah. I think you brought a couple of loaded dice from Germany. And,
Iron dice. But having said that, you still managed to kill basically my whole army. So we squeaked a victory despite having 3 Giants basically on our side. So you can feel good about that at least.
No, it was good. And I tell you what, that game of Armada we played was excellent, where we did a little treasure hunt. That was great.
Absolutely,
yeah.
Brilliant fun. Do we think we'd have the heart to play a little game like that of Armada at some like Friday night or something? Would we have the enthusiasm?
I'm not sure if I have it in me now, and plus 6 games of Kings, so we can see how it goes anyway.
Yeah. Maybe next time. Next time I see you guys, anyway, let's play Armada, because that was brilliantly funny, wasn't it? It was great. Great crack,
absolutely great crack. Yeah.
And Kev sort of expertly guided his ship between an island and a sandbar. And it was like, if you did that on purpose, that was amazing. Because it was like by the millimetre, you guided that ship beautifully. It was like, where's this come from? Where is this unbelievable skill, salesmanship or whatever it is?
It was totally the plan, Chris. It was totally the plan.
Yeah, of course it was.
Like something from Master and Commander, yeah.
That's exactly doing impressions of Russell Crowe. Brilliant. Fantastic, guys. Listen, it's been brilliant having you on the pod. Please don't be strangers, guys. You're always welcome back. And yes, I'm very, very lucky to call you guys friends. Thank you so much for everything, guys. And
thanks for having us on, Chris.
Brilliant.
That's it, Chris. Thanks for being.
I'm very, very much looking forward to Clash of Kings. That's absolutely the case.
I cannot wait. Clash of Kings has become almost a festival of Kings of War. Let's say we were at Northern Kings, it's like a tournament, but Clash of Kings is it's becoming almost like a festival. It's unmissable at this stage.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. I mean, at this point, to be honest, I mean, I'm excited to play the game. Don't get me wrong, but I reckon that's probably about 20% of the reason why I'm going. I'm there to see you guys. I can't wait to see your armies. Do you know what I mean? It's like it just as time goes on, it's less and less about the game, and I love the game still. The game's great, but it's just about the friends along the way. And Mark Zielinski's flying in from the US, and it's just it's good times, isn't it, guys? It really is. These silly little toy soldiers games give you so much back into your life, don't they? It's crazy.
Yeah, what I love is when we have a group of us there, and each round you can go around and check how everyone's doing. You want everyone else to win, and kind of going around checking how you did in this round and that round, and. But like you said, it's catching up with people and having the crack, and that's by far the most important thing. As I said, probably the least important thing is that you win a load of games at Toy Soldiers. Obviously, you're going there and you're trying to do well, and that's part of the hobby. But it's definitely not the most important part for me.
It's, as we said earlier, it's those games which are incredibly fun and close and exciting. It doesn't really matter. Of course, you'd rather win, but it doesn't really matter whether you win or lose. It's that experience, right? And that, connecting with another human being and just having a lovely old time. You just can't beat it, can you, guys?
Yeah, when you're playing someone who's on the same buzz as you, just like you're playing with somebody who wants the same out of the game as what you want, and that's just to have a great time. Yeah, you want to win, and that is important, but it's not what it's all about, really.
And even when you've had horrible defeats, you just want to go over to your friends and say, "Guys, make me feel better about myself. I had a boo-boo."
That gives you something to laugh about, doesn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, of course it does. Exactly. Fantastic. Right. Fantastic, guys. Great. And there we go. I thought this would be literally kind of 40 minutes chatting about, your experience of the tournament. And there we go. Basically an hour and a half later. This is how MUP turns into 4-hour episodes after editing,
I'd say that.
It's all good, isn't it?
Yeah, it's just friends talking about toy soldiers, it's good fun.
Absolutely is.
Brilliant. If one of you remembers the the tagline for the show, does one of you want to volunteer to take us out?
Sure, I'll do that. So much universe, so little time.
Fantastic. Thanks, guys. Thanks, dear listener.